Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. What's up, friends? It's Michelle Grosser here. Thanks for being with me on the Calm Mom Podcast. I'm recording from my office in our house, even though we're not moved in yet, but we're so close. A lot of our stuff is moved in. We've had to have new furniture delivered because this house is a lot bigger than our other house. So we had rooms that needed to be furnished. So that's so exciting. And I think I'm on like week 2.5 of homeschooling the girls. And that's going so well. We're doing it in the mornings. And then that leaves me with the afternoons to work on the podcast and coaching and grow my business and all the things. And then do something fun together in the late afternoons and evenings. So definitely a new rhythm, definitely an adjustment, definitely a practice of finding my sense of being grounded and providing the girls with some, stability and like a rhythm and a routine, even though we don't really have our home yet. And we're kind of living out of suitcases and in between all these different things, making sure that the main thing is the main thing. So that's been really special to navigate. And I've been learning so much, a lot of which I'll probably share with you guys because I think it can apply in so many different of our life situations. But what I want to talk today about is anxiety. I get asked so often, like, how do I make my anxiety go away, right? What can I do to make my anxiety go away? How do I not feel like this? And, it's a very simple question. And it's a question that I get so often because anxiety doesn't feel good, right? And we want ways to make it go away. But the response I'm going to give you guys today is kind of annoying. Stay with me, because it's counterintuitive. And it's very simply this. And then we'll go into like the science and the psychology of why this is true. So how do you make your anxiety go away when you're feeling super anxious? Is, drum roll, you don't. You don't try to make it go away. You don't try to suppress it. You don't try to avoid it. You don't try to ignore it. Like, you don't try to just breathe or calm it away with all of those regulation tools you've got in your toolbox. Please don't try to reduce your anxiety, because here's what happens. It actually only makes our anxiety worse, right? Our instinct as human beings is like, this is super uncomfortable, right? The sensation of anxiety, what it's doing in your body, it's super uncomfortable. And then we're like, I don't like how this feels. Make it go away, right? Which makes a lot of sense, right? We don't want to sit in discomfort. But if that's your mindset, like if that's your internal talk, whether you're aware of it or not, right? This is super uncomfortable. Make it go away. What happens when that's our internal dialogue is that our brain starts to see our anxiety itself as a danger. Because that's what we're telling it, right? We're like, this isn't safe. This isn't good. And our little alarm in our brain, that amygdala, goes off. And what happens is that our brain senses the anxiety and says the anxiety itself isn't safe. And our brain continues to send signals, right? To pump out cortisol and adrenaline, because when it perceives any threat, it sends our body into some sort of stress response, right? Fight or flight, freeze. So when you're avoiding the anxiety and trying to make it go away and thinking about how much how awful it is and how uncomfortable it is and how much we don't want it, your body starts to have anxiety about having anxiety, right? Your body starts to have anxiety about having anxiety. Like, is this landing for anyone? So the thoughts and the fears and the discomfort around your anxiety and how to make it stop and make it go away will make you more anxious. So you don't want to get caught in that cycle. And if you're listening and you're like, okay, cool, Michelle, but so what do I do? Let's start here. The best question isn't actually, how do I make my anxiety stop? The right question, the better question, especially from a somatic perspective, is how do I learn to be with the sensations of my anxiety? How do I learn to be with that? And that's the paradox, right? Is the minute that you stop obsessing about making it go away and just learn how to be with your anxiety, allow it to be there, not fearing it, not ignoring it, to just be able to notice it and feel the sensations of anxiety. When you can learn how to just be with it, your anxiety will start to fade and it will lessen and your nervous system will start to regulate and you're going to feel so much better. All right, so let's start here. Number one, how do I quote unquote be with my anxiety, right? What does that even look like? First, you got to slow down, you guys. You got to slow down. You're not going to be with anything going 100 miles an hour, right? From one task to the next. So if you're feeling anxious, there's your first red flag. Slow down. Slow down. Slow your breathing, slow your movement, slow your thinking, right? Just slow down. Start walking more slowly and go take 5 minutes. Go sit in the bathroom if you have to. Sometimes that's what I got to do. Go sit in the car, lock the car for a minute in the garage, right? Go sit in the backyard, have 5 minutes to yourself, wherever you need to be, whatever you've got to do to just have a few minutes of quiet. And then you're going to notice. You're going to notice and acknowledge the sensations and the feelings of your anxiety. So close your eyes. You can even do this now if you want, as long as you're not driving. If you're somewhere you can close your eyes, go ahead and do it. Close your eyes. And then just start to notice, where in your body do you feel that anxiety? Do you feel it in your head? Is your head just tight and buzzing? Do you feel it in your chest? Does it feel like maybe there's a weight on your chest? Your breathing is super shallow. Do you notice it maybe as butterflies or a knot in your stomach, right? Maybe you notice it with jittery, bouncy legs. And this might feel kind of wonky at first, but you're going to get better at noticing your somatic cues of anxiety, but you got to start. Like anything else, right? You got to start, let it be wonky, keep doing it, stay consistent, and you'll get better at it. So first go slow down. Take a moment to notice where you're feeling and sensing that anxiety in your body. And just breathe and just notice it without any judgment or labels. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not better, worse, whatever. It just is, right? I'm noticing a tightness in my stomach. I'm noticing a heaviness on my chest. I'm noticing a lot of tension in my shoulders. I'm noticing my jaw clenching, whatever it is. You're just observing. Why is this important? It's important because every time you notice, every time you actually stop, slow down to feel your anxiety and you don't die, right? Nothing bad happens. What you're doing is you're proving to your body, you're proving to your brain, your nervous system, that this anxiety is not life-threatening, right? We don't need to be anxious about our anxiety. We don't have to pump out all those stress hormones because we're feeling anxious and then cause this awful spiral of anxiety. The more you do this, you guys, the more that you reduce the power that fear of anxiety has over you. The more that you allow yourself to just sit there, be with it for a few seconds, prove to your body you didn't die. It's okay. This is a way of teaching your system that anxiety can move through you, that anxiety can be experienced by you without it overwhelming you. And that ultimately leads to lessening its impact. And here's another important thing, you guys. Anxiety is often a messenger, right? All of the sensations in our body are messengers. They're just trying to alert us to something that needs our attention. So imagine it as an alarm in your brain, right? That's what our amygdala is. And it's just trying to help you. And if you're scared of the alarm, if you fear the alarm, if you want the alarm to stop, but the danger is still there, that little alarm in your brain is going to get louder and more intense so it can do its job to protect you. But when we take the time to notice and acknowledge our anxiety rather than, denying it, avoiding it, suppressing it, when we take the time to notice and listen to it, we actually shift our relationship with it. So instead of seeing it as something to fear or to get rid of, we can start to view our anxiety as a signal from our body, as a signal from our nervous system that, okay, I hear ya, something's out of balance, right? And just allowing ourselves to notice the anxiety. What does it feel like in my body? What thoughts might be tied to it? That in and of itself can begin to really reduce the intensity. And just that act of awareness lets your brain, lets your body know you're listening, right? I hear you, alarm, right? I'm actually safe in this moment. There's no need to escalate the response. There's no need to call in backup. There's no need to get louder, right? I hear you. I'm taking action. So first, you're going to slow down. You're going to notice where the anxiety is in your body. You're going to observe it. You're going to feel it. You're going to be with it. And again, this doesn't have to be a whole thing, right? This literally can take a minute or two. So that's the first thing you're going to do. Slow down and notice it. Second, you're going to take action. Anxiety and inaction tend to go hand in hand, right? Anxiety and inaction, not doing anything, anxiety and just sitting there tend to go hand in hand. Back to the alarm. If that anxiety is an alarm, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Right? A fire alarm goes off. You don't just sit there and think about it and ruminate about it and come up with a script of what you're going to say and what you're going to do next week. You don't. You take action, right? You start like walking through your house and sniffing for smoke, and you go into the kitchen and see if someone's like burnt a toast or something, right? If there's smoke or there's a fire, like you get everyone out of the house, you call the fire department. So stop thinking about all the things that are making you anxious. Stop playing out every scenario in your head. Stop talking about it. Stop Googling it. Stop like doomsday thinking. When we're stuck in ruminating, that looping through the anxious thoughts without any sort of resolution or action, like without taking any action, that creates a sense of powerlessness. And that actually amplifies our stress response. And this happens because our brain's wired for survival, right? Perceives a threat, again, whether real or imagined. And then when no clear solution or no like action is taken in response to that threat, it just keeps the alarm bells ringing. So essentially, when we're just thinking about our problems without doing anything, like without moving toward resolving the problem, the brain feels like it's kind of stuck. It's stuck in this loop of uncertainty, and that uncertainty fuels anxiety. But on the flip side, you guys, taking action breaks that loop. So from a neuroscience perspective, your brain thrives on structure. Your brain thrives on predictability. Our brain, you guys, loves a good plan, right? I know you all love a good plan. So does your brain. Our brain loves a good plan. Why? Because plans reduce the unknown, right? Plans mitigate risk. When you move from an anxious thought to taking action, and I don't care how small the step is, starting something or like tackling the whole dang task, you're signaling to your brain, I'm in control, right? And that helps reduce the anxiety response. Even really small steps can help shift us out of fight or flight mode and into problem solving mode. Because what happens is that it engages our prefrontal cortex, right? That's the part of our brain that's like our rational brain, the executive part of our brain. And when we engage that prefrontal cortex instead of the amygdala, right? We take the power back and we don't let the amygdala, that alarm center in our brain, run the show. So that helps to shift, helps to regulate our nervous system, and it can also help to alleviate the feelings of overwhelm. All right, so what are your practical takeaways for today? I think it's good to know this, guys, but it's better to do it, okay? So here's where I want you to start. When anxiety strikes, right? When you notice that you're starting to feel really anxious or you wake up feeling really anxious, the problem, the task, whatever it is, often feels really overwhelming. So take a few minutes, slow down, right? And see if you can grab a pen and paper, break it down into like smaller, manageable steps, right? You don't have to clean your whole house in 20 minutes. You start with something small, right? I'm going to start with just vacuuming, or I'm going to start with the bathrooms. Break it down into smaller, manageable steps, anything you're doing. And it gives your brain something concrete to focus on, and that lowers anxiety that's associated with the unknown. Second, and this has been so helpful for me, you guys, create a daily plan. Like just set aside a few minutes in the morning, or even better yet, I do it in the evening before, and just create a loose plan for your day. Because even if the day takes unexpected turns, which as a mom, it will. It just will, right? As it pivots and as it takes unexpected turns, just having an idea of like how we get back on track, having a roadmap of where we're going today can really help keep our anxiety in check. Because why? Our brain feels like there's a plan. Our brain feels more prepared. In that same vein too, if you struggle with a freeze response because of the overwhelm, so if you're struggling with procrastination, that often worsens anxiety, set a timer, 5 minutes, right? 5 to 10 minutes, and just start on the smallest thing. And I promise you, once you just get started, that's the hardest part. And when you can convince yourself, all right, I can do this for 5 minutes, set your timer, and that momentum that you'll start to get as you just take action tends to lessen your anxiety, and it'll make it easier to continue. And then I think the last thing when it comes to this taking action in response to feeling anxious is that when we're stuck in anxious thoughts, you guys, get out of your head and into your body. Like if there's one thing you're going to take away from today's episode, when you are stuck in anxious thoughts, get out of your head and get into your body. Overthinking is typically a red flag that you are under feeling. So overthinking is usually a sign that you're under feeling. I teach this and I practice it all the time. When I get stuck in anxious thoughts, when I get stuck with those looping, like ruminating thoughts, that's like a little sign to me, hey, Michelle, you're not feeling something, right? You're not getting in your body. Get out of your head right now and stop telling yourself this story. Stop replaying what happened. Stop thinking about all the things you should have said and get into your body. And that could be as simple as like going for a short walk, stretching, right? Sit on the floor and stretch, take some deep breaths. Physical movement, you guys, really helps to discharge anxious energy. And then it gives our body this sense of control and a sense of safety. So intentional action, manageable action is going to shift your brain from worrying about all the stuff that could happen, right? All the potential outcomes to actively working through the challenge. And that will help to reduce your anxiety. So long story short, how do you reduce your anxiety when it's happening? Say it with me. You don't. You don't try to stop it. Instead, you pay attention to it and you try to be with it, right? You slow down, you notice it in your body. If you were feeling anxious today, you hit play on this episode because you always have that kind of low grade anxiety running, right? That was me for the longest time. Like do it right now, right? When you hit stop on this episode, like where are you noticing that anxiety in your body? Is your tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth right now, right? Your neck and shoulders tense, just notice. And then second, you're going to take action. Because remember, anxiety and inaction go hand in hand. So if we want to help with that anxiety loop, we've got to take action. Helps to lessen your anxiety. You're going to stop thinking, start feeling, and doing. And that, my friends, is how you reduce your anxiety. So if this episode was helpful, if you learned anything today, if you put it into practice, man, it would be so wonderful. And I'd be so grateful if you could leave a short review, a 5-star rating, and a short review. I love you guys so much. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.